This presentation examines the evidence-based program Graduated Driver Licensing. Graduated Driver Licensing, or GDL programs and laws have been implemented by all states in the U.S. after 1996. The programs intend to improve motor vehicle safety for new teen drivers by restricting their driving privileges while they gain driving experience, thus reducing the number of teen car crashes and mortality and injury rates. Williams et al. Explore the history of GDL laws over the last 2 decades. They concluded that specific GDL laws vary by state, but all include elements of supervised driving, restrictions of nighttime driving, and limits to number of passengers in the car. The initial phase of GDL programs include a certain number of hours and or period of time of supervised driving by a licensed adult like a parent or driving instructor. This initial phase is often known as a learner's permit. The next phase of GDL programs grants a restricted license to new teen drivers who have completed the initial phase. This phase allows unsupervised driving, but includes nighttime restrictions, as well as limits the number of unlicensed drivers allowed in the car. The final phase of GDL programs allow full, unrestricted driving privileges. New teen drivers transition through the phases after meeting requirements of driving hours, length of time, and/or age. The target population of GDL programs is new teenage drivers. The specific ages vary by state, ranging from 15 to 18 years old, with a focus on 16 and 17-year-olds. GDL programs aim to ease new teen drivers into driving by limiting exposure to difficult driving situations. GDL programs are implemented to reduce incidents of traffic violations and crashes, thus improving overall teen driver safety. There are a variety of factors surrounding the target population that impact the effectiveness of GDL programs, all of which make it difficult to monitor and manage teen driving behavior. Additional driver distractions continue to impact motor vehicle safety, most significantly cell phone use, including talking, texting, electronic navigation, and more. These distractions impact the effectiveness of GDL programs by increasing the likelihood of teen motor vehicle accidents. Another factor that may impact the effectiveness of GDL programs is how well community stakeholders enforce the program rules and regulations. For example, do law enforcement officers pay attention to driver age, looking out for teens driving at night? Social factors can impact the effectiveness of GDL programs. Research suggests communities are in favor of GDL programs, as so one would assume all community stakeholders will support the success of the programs. There may be additional factors to consider, including parent availability and involvement. For example, do parents closely monitor their teen drivers to ensure they are adhering to the restrictions? Brickland et al. Closely examined this question and conclude that low parental involvement contributes to low adherence to GDL rules. Socioeconomic status also contributes to motor vehicle safety, as suggested by Braver, and should be considered when evaluating any public health program. Teen drivers are eager to obtain their driver's license in order to promote their independence and transition into adulthood. GDL programs are undesirable from the perspective of this target population, thus requiring the need to expand the considerations beyond the immediate target population to the larger community, including parents of new teen drivers. Because the immediate target population is comprised of minors under the influence of their parents, it makes sense to consider parents a part of the target population. Additionally, implementing GDL programs as an absolute requirement to obtain a driver's license was necessary in order to gain compliance from teenagers with their immature attitudes. Developers of GDL programs looked to data to drive the development of the programs. Motor vehicle crashes significantly contributed to teen death and injury, leading to examination of this public health threat. High rates of teen motor vehicle accidents became a major public health concern of the community. As a result, GDL programs were developed in the mid-1990s to address this public health threat. The research is unclear as to why GDL programs became so immediately widely accepted and adopted by all states. However, the programs were positively supported by all stakeholders, especially by parents of teens. Research of the effectiveness of GDL programs followed the implementation of the programs. The results of the research strongly support the effectiveness of the programs in improving teen driver safety. Research supports that GDL programs improve teen driver safety, but it is still unclear what exact elements of the program contribute to its success. Motor vehicle safety can be examined through the lens of the ecological model, as referenced by Schneider. The ecological model suggests changes in the social environment are needed to impact individual driving behaviors. The personal attitudes around driving behaviors and safety are intrapersonal factors. The remaining factors include the ecological model influence these individual behaviors. Interpersonal factors include peer influence, which is particularly relevant to teen driving behaviors. This can include risky teen driver distractions. Institutional factors can include driver education in schools for teens. Community factors can support progress towards motor vehicle injury prevention by encouraging and incentivizing public transportation, for example. The final level, public policy, includes enforced driving rules and regulations, including graduated driver licensing programs, which certainly can support progress towards motor vehicle injury prevention. Patricia F. Waller's research at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill Highway Safety Research Center in the 1970s was the first to explore the concept of graduated driver licensing. She examined teen driver safety, specifically the high rates of crashes. Waller concluded that the data proved driver age, nighttime driving, and presence of passengers all contributed to the high rates of motor vehicle crashes. Alan F. Williams was another leading proponent of GDL programs in the U.S., working for the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety and writing hundreds of articles on the topic. Williams' work is referenced in nearly all articles discussing GDL programs in the U.S. A 1996 paper by Williams et al. Describes the rules for obtaining a driver license at that time, right before GDL programs were adopted by all states in the U.S. Williams and his colleagues at the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety looked to the success of GDL programs in Australia, Canada, and New Zealand to drive their research. After Waller's initial development and proposal of a GDL program, researchers continued to examine teen driver crash data. The continued research strengthened the case for the programs. After 1996, GDL programs were eventually adopted by all states. Legislators are certainly key players in the implementation of GDL programs because they are the ones who put laws into place. While they do not personally perform the research used to develop something like GDL programs, they review proposed laws and ultimately decide whether to accept and adopt or reject them. DMV administrators are also key players because they play an integral role in the physical implementation of GDL programs. Another significant stakeholder in the implementation of the programs are parents of teens. They are involved in GDL programs because they have such a significant impact on new teen drivers. The support of parents of teens is essential in the success of GDL programs. Community law enforcement is used to implement GDL programs. Law enforcement officers enforce the driving laws implemented by each state. The education system is used to implement GDL programs in states that require school-based driver education. Researchers and groups concerned with driving safety, such as the Highway Safety Research Center and the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, play an integral role in the funding of GDL programs. Without funding to support research, there would not be data to support the proposal of such a program. The initial implementation of GDL programs required the development of new licensing processes and procedures, including details such as new paperwork and other costly changes. There is no federal law associated with GDL programs, so these costs fall on each individual state. Other organizations concerned with teen driver safety, such as Mothers Against Drunk Driving and Students Against Destructive Decisions, may be interested in financially supporting the continued improvement and implementation of GDL programs. These organizations have similar goals of reducing new teen driver crashes. There do not seem to be any significant ethical concerns in the development or delivery of GDL programs. it may be an ethical concern for the law to dictate when teens are permitted to drive, rather than their parents. Parents may feel that they should be able to best judge when their teens may be ready to drive. If the driving restrictions for new teen drivers only involved the safety of the individual teen driver and did not involve all of the other drivers on the road, perhaps there would be a stronger argument made for allowing parents to decide when their teens are ready to drive without any involvement of the law. Public health issues need to be addressed with the entire community as a whole in mind, not just each individual person. While parents are ultimately most concerned about the safety of their children, some parents may view GDL programs as an inconvenience, particularly parents who want to rely on their older children to help contribute to the family by transporting younger siblings or driving to and from work on their own. It is evident that teens themselves could be opposed to GDL programs because they are eager to obtain unrestricted driving privileges. Parent negative attitudes of GDL programs can influence their teens' negative attitudes. Opponents also include those who believe GDL programs violate individual parental rights, which relates to the ethical concerns mentioned earlier. Various social factors contribute to the need for GDL programs, including peer influence among new teen drivers. Distractions continue to affect driver safety as they become more available and abundant, especially for teens. Distractions like cell phone use are an incredible concern for new teen drivers, with so much available at all times, including texting, mobile navigation, and countless social media apps. According to data collected in 2013 by the Centers for Disease Control, teens represented only 7% of the U.S. population, but incurred 11%, $10 billion of total costs of injuries from motor vehicle crashes. This is a significant economic factor that contributed to the need for GDL programs. The data of crashes and traffic violations of new teen drivers resulting in injury and death should be widely shared and emphasized to get community buy-in for GDL programs. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration confirmed motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of teen death and injury. Data of the success of GDL programs in the first countries to implement such programs should also be shared, like New Zealand, that adopted the GDL program in 1987 and reported significant crash reduction as a result. The first states in the U.S. to implement GDL programs reported a decrease in crashes as a result of the programs, which motivated other states to follow suit. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, deaths and injuries as a result of motor vehicle crashes have steadily declined since the implementation of GDL programs in 1996. As shown in the chart, the fatality rate per 100,000 16 to 20-year-olds declined from 29.43 in 1996 to 13.06 in 2015. The injury rate per 100,000 declined from 3,132 in 1996 to 1,336 in 2015. This significant data should elicit significant community buy-in. GDL programs are successful because they ease new teen drivers into difficult driving situations, thus reducing crashes and preventing injury and death. The implementation of GDL programs has been so successful because each state has adopted the program as required by law. New teen drivers did not have a choice in their licensing conditions unless they chose not to adhere to the GDL program rules, in which case they would be breaking the law. Parents of teens overwhelmingly supported the initial implementation of GDL programs, which contributed to the eventual adoption of the programs in all U.S. states. The positive effects of GDL programs are significant. The data overwhelmingly supports the effectiveness of GDL programs in reducing new teen driver crashes, thus preventing death and injury. As more research is conducted and data is collected, existing GDL programs can be refined and adjusted to accommodate for significant new findings. Entire large communities as well as small states have implemented GDL programs, which makes the scalability of the program to other communities possible. U.S. states looked to the research after New Zealand's implementation of a GDL program in 1987. Driver licensing is universal across individual states, eliminating the need for smaller communities to adopt GDL programs.